Hey, everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a book that's a must-read for anyone interested in psychology, marketing, or persuasion. Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. If you've ever wondered why people say yes, or how to become more persuasive in your personal and professional life, this book is for you. Robert Cialdini, a renowned psychologist and expert in the science of influence, breaks down the 6 key principles of persuasion that drive human behavior. This isn't just a book about theory. It's a practical, research-backed guide filled with real-world examples, actionable strategies, and fascinating insights into how influence works. Whether you're a marketer, salesperson, leader, or just someone looking to understand human behavior, this book will give you the tools to become more persuasive and influential. So, grab a notebook, sit back, and let's explore the key ideas, lessons, and takeaways from this groundbreaking book. Overview of the book. Influence is based on decades of research into the psychology of persuasion. Cialdini identifies 6 key principles of influence that drive human behavior. 1. Reciprocity. People feel obligated to give back when they receive something. 2. Commitment and consistency. People like to be consistent with their past actions and commitments. 3. Social proof. People look to others to determine what's correct or appropriate. 4. Liking. People are more likely to say yes to those they know and like. 5. Authority. People follow the lead of credible, knowledgeable experts. 6. Scarcity. People want more of what they can have less of. Through a mix of research studies, real-world examples, and practical applications, Cialdini provides a comprehensive guide to understanding and leveraging these principles of influence. Key themes and lessons. Let's break down the core lessons and themes from influence. These are the ideas that have made this book a cornerstone of psychology and marketing. 1. Reciprocity. The power of giving. One of the central themes of the book is the principle of reciprocity, which states that people feel obligated to give back when they receive something. Cialdini explains that this principle is deeply ingrained in human behavior and can be a powerful tool for persuasion. Example: Cialdini shares the story of the Hare Krishna movement, which used the principle of reciprocity to increase donations. Members would give flowers or small gifts to people in public places, and many recipients felt obligated to donate in return. The takeaway: use the principle of reciprocity to build goodwill and encourage others to say yes. Offer something of value first, and people will feel obligated to reciprocate. 2. Commitment and consistency. The desire to stay aligned. Cialdini introduces the principle of commitment and consistency, which states that people like to be consistent with their past actions and commitments. Once someone makes a commitment, they are more likely to follow through with consistent behavior. Example: Cialdini shares the story of a study where homeowners were asked to display a small sign supporting safe driving. Later, they were asked to display a much larger sign. Those who had committed to the small sign were much more likely to agree to the larger sign because they wanted to be consistent with their initial commitment. The lesson: use the principle of commitment and consistency to encourage people to follow through on their commitments. Start with small requests and build up to larger ones. 3. Social proof. The power of the crowd. Cialdini discusses the principle of social proof, which states that people look to others to determine what's correct or appropriate. When people are unsure of what to do, they often follow the behavior of others. Example: Cialdini shares the story of a restaurant that increased reservations by simply adding the line, "Our most popular dishes," to the menu. Customers were more likely to order those dishes because they saw them as the correct choice. The takeaway: use the principle of social proof to influence behavior. Highlight what others are doing to encourage people to follow suit. 4. Liking. The power of relationships. Cialdini emphasizes the principle of liking, which states that people are more likely to say yes to those they know and like. Building rapport and relationships is essential for persuasion. Example: Cialdini shares the story of Tupperware parties, where friends and family gather to buy products. The success of these parties is largely due to the principle of liking. People are more likely to buy from someone they know and like. The lesson: build rapport and relationships to increase your influence. People are more likely to say yes to those they like. 5. Authority, the power of expertise. Cialdini introduces the principle of authority, which states that people follow the lead of credible, knowledgeable experts. Demonstrating authority can significantly increase your persuasive power. Example, Cialdini shares the story of a study where participants were more likely to follow the advice of someone wearing a lab coat, a symbol of authority, than someone in casual clothing. Simply appearing authoritative increased the person's influence. The takeaway: demonstrate your expertise and authority to increase your influence. Use titles, credentials, and symbols of authority to establish credibility. 6. Scarcity, the power of limited availability. Cialdini discusses the principle of scarcity, which states that people want more of what they can have less of. When something is scarce or limited, it becomes more desirable. Example, Cialdini shares the story of a jewelry store that struggled to sell a particular item. When the store owner mistakenly doubled the price and labeled the item as limited edition, it sold out quickly. The perceived scarcity made the item more desirable. The lesson: use the principle of scarcity to increase the perceived value of your offer. Highlight limited availability or exclusive opportunities to encourage action. 7. The role of automaticity. Cialdini explains that many of these principles work because of automaticity, the tendency for people to respond to certain triggers automatically, without conscious thought. These automatic responses are shortcuts that help people make decisions quickly. Example, Cialdini shares the story of how people automatically respond to the word because in requests. Even if the reason given is not particularly strong, the word because triggers an automatic response to comply. The takeaway: understand the power of automaticity and use it to your advantage. Use triggers like because to encourage compliance. 8. The importance of ethical influence. Cialdini emphasizes the importance of using these principles ethically. While the principles of influence can be powerful, they should be used to create win-win situations, not to manipulate or deceive. Example, Cialdini shares the story of a car salesman who used the principle of reciprocity ethically by offering a free car wash to customers. This small gesture built goodwill and encouraged customers to return, creating a win-win situation. The lesson: use the principles of influence ethically to create win-win situations. Avoid manipulation and focus on building trust and goodwill. 9. The role of context in influence. Cialdini discusses the importance of context in influence. He explains that the effectiveness of these principles can depend on the situation and the individual. Example, Cialdini shares the story of how the principle of social proof is more effective in uncertain situations. When people are unsure of what to do, they are more likely to look to others for guidance. The takeaway: consider the context when applying the principles of influence. Tailor your approach to the situation and the individual. 10. The power of combining principles. Cialdini explains that the principles of influence are most powerful when used in combination. By combining multiple principles, you can significantly increase your persuasive power. Example, Cialdini shares the story of a charity that used the principles of reciprocity, social proof, and scarcity to increase donations. They offered a small gift, reciprocity, highlighted how many others had donated, social proof, and emphasized the limited time to donate, scarcity. The combination of these principles led to a significant increase in donations. The lesson: combine multiple principles of influence to maximize your persuasive power. Use reciprocity, social proof, scarcity, and other principles together to create a compelling case. Actionable takeaways. Now that we've covered the key lessons, let's talk about how you can apply these principles in your own life. Here are some actionable steps inspired by influence. 1. Use reciprocity. Offer something of value first to encourage others to reciprocate. Build goodwill by giving before asking. 2. Leverage commitment and consistency. Start with small requests and build up to larger ones. Encourage people to make commitments and follow through with consistent behavior. 3. Apply social proof. Highlight what others are doing to encourage people to follow suit. Use testimonials, case studies, and social proof to influence behavior. 4. Build relationships. Focus on building rapport and relationships to increase your influence. People are more likely to say yes to those they like. 5. Demonstrate authority. Establish your expertise and authority to increase your persuasive power. Use titles, credentials, and symbols of authority to build credibility. 6. Create scarcity. Highlight limited availability or exclusive opportunities to increase the perceived value of your offer. Use scarcity to encourage action. 7. Understand automaticity. Use triggers like because to encourage compliance. Understand the power of automatic responses and use them to your advantage. 8. Use influence ethically. Focus on creating win-win situations and building trust. Avoid manipulation and use the principles of influence ethically. 9. Consider context. Tailor your approach to the situation and the individual. Consider the context when applying the principles of influence. 10. Combine principles. Use multiple principles of influence together to maximize your persuasive power. Combine reciprocity, social proof, scarcity, and other principles to create a compelling case. Criticisms and controversies. While influence has been widely praised for its insights and practical applications, it's not without its critics. Some argue that the book's focus on persuasion techniques can be used unethically to manipulate others. Others believe that the principles of influence may not be as effective in all cultural contexts. However, the book's strength lies in its ability to provide a clear, research-backed framework for understanding and leveraging the principles of influence. Even if not every principle is applicable to every situation, the core ideas of reciprocity, social proof, and scarcity are valuable for anyone looking to become more persuasive. Conclusion. Influence is a must-read for anyone looking to understand the psychology of persuasion and become more influential in their personal and professional life. Robert Cialdini's research-backed insights, real-world examples, and practical advice make this book an invaluable resource for mastering the art of persuasion. Whether you're a marketer, salesperson, leader, or just someone looking to understand human behavior, this book will give you the tools to become more persuasive and influential. If you found this summary helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more book summaries and personal finance tips. Let me know in the comments what your biggest takeaway from influence is, or if there's another book you'd like me to cover next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.